Welcome to the Creepin' It Real Show, your one-stop shop for not-so-serious weird news, TV and movie reviews, and some paranormal shenanigans. We'll also take dives into what's going on in pop culture. You can follow us on Twitter at creepin_it, on Facebook at facebook.com/creepinitrealshow, and you can also shoot us an email at creepinitrealshow@gmail.com. Welcome to the Creepin' It Real Show. I'm one of your hosts, Yardley, live and direct from Atlanta, Georgia, and today we are going to do a little bit of our spoilery thoughts on Netflix's Army of the Dead. But before we begin, I'm going to bring in my co-host. Today we have a honorary co-host, Kinte from Indy Radio. He's a person who I've podcasted with for many, many years. It's been a while since we've done a show together, but every time I hear his voice, it's like we're right back where we left off. From the great state of California, Kinte Ferguson, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. Every time anything ATL, I always think about you, Yardley. Including trying to get your wide receiver to my team, the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm sure. It looks like the possibility is really high. And oh my gosh, it's kind of depressing, but I know that it's something that's gonna have to go down. But also from the great state of California, we have Moni. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm excited to have some more West Coast representation here today. So, can't complain. It's been hotter than balls, but I mean, I guess that's what you expect out this way. So,
what is it? It's like 90 degrees out your way right now.
Yeah, the last couple days, and I don't mind so much during the day, but it hasn't cooled off at night. I usually get that like coastal, and it's just staying hot. So I think we're in for it for the summer, perhaps.
Okay. Well, and Christy, right up the street, how you doing?
Yeah, can't complain. Hello, everybody. Happy to see or hear Kinte again. I think we had Kinte on a show, or I was on Kinte's show, 7 or 8 years ago.
Gosh, that's crazy. That's so long.
Wasn't that? It was the
Mars
man,
Venus.
Woman, Mars Venus. That's
Mars
what it was.
Venus.
Yeah. Been a while, but
we got to get you guys back on.
Absolutely. But yes, happy to hear his voice again, and everything's going swimmingly in my world. My HVAC broke at my new house, so we had to leave early and come back home because there was no air conditioning at the new house. So,
yeah,
the time's
expensive too. That sucks.
It's really expensive, and there's 3 units, so that's even better. So, but otherwise, life's fine. Can't complain. It's really fucking hot here now too. So, whatever. It's Georgia. That's expected.
Yeah, definitely agreed. I'm definitely feeling that heat. It's actually cooled down a little bit right now, but it was a little bit muggy earlier today. But you know what? I'll take it because it's it's outside and gardening weather, and I think over the last year, with everybody being cooped up, there's a lot of people kind of ready to be outside and do some things. So exactly. I don't blame everybody. Okay, well. We're just going to kick off this show, and we're just going to talk about some of the things that we've been watching before we dive into talking about Army of the Dead. And I'll just go ahead and start off since I've got the hot mic. Excuse me. I checked out Without Remorse, which was on Amazon Prime, and this is a movie that's starring Michael B. Jordan, and it's based off of a Tom Clancy novel. I watched it. I thought it was entertaining. It seems like it's set up for there to be more of these, cause Tom Clancy definitely, has the material in the books, to keep going, with Amazon. I thought it was solid. Did any of you check that out?
I did. I saw it, and, it's the precursor to, Rainbow Six, which was the video game series. Yeah. Which is a great game series if you guys ever played it. I thought it was really cool. I love the scene that they show in the trailer. The scene, and it lives up when you watch it in the context of the film where he sets the car on fire, and then he that is, I mean, and then I actually saw the behind the scenes of that, and I don't know how he didn't burn his hand doing that, because they legit did that, and so.
Yeah, it's a cool scene actually, and I I was kind of surprised at how good it played out. Christy and Moni, y'all didn't see it. I'm surprised if you haven't when it's basally Michael B. Jordan sweating his shirt off the,
now I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah, it's, I'm pretty sure that both of you will enjoy it. I think the movie's only, around an hour and a half, Kinte?
Yeah, it's not very long at all. No.
But it's solid. I would definitely recommend that. And I jumped on and I watched, the full series of Jupiter's Legacy. And for those who aren't familiar, it's about superpowered children of superheroes who are struggling to live up to their legendary, parents. I thought it was okay when I watched the first episode. I was like, as far as messaging concerned, I was like, this one might be this might turn some people off. But as I kept watching the series, I got more and more interested. So I thought it was solid. I'm sure that Moni's seen this.
I haven't. Oh no. Gosh. Superpowered children. Didn't you say this one was okay for kids, or is it adult level?
This one, I think it's okay for kids. It's not super duper over the top. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I think your kids could watch it. I mean, there is some graphic. There's a couple of people who get beat up really bad, but it's definitely not so over the top. I know that your kids can handle it. I know that they've probably watched some rough stuff with you.
Okay.
Christy or Kinte, have y'all checked out any of those episodes?
No, I have not yet, but I've heard good things about it. I have to check it out.
I think, isn't it in I think it's in like the top 10 still, of Netflix. What about you, Christy, if you had an opportunity?
I have not. I have not hardly watched TV at all lately, so I am really living for all these episodes so that I can get the 411 on everything to watch, because I don't have time to sit down and find things. Yeah. So I've been really depending on you guys to tell me what to watch. So now I have to go watch Michael B. Jordan, which I'm sure I would have discovered that one anyway, because he's smoking hot and I have a huge crush on him, even though I could be his mother. And then
he might like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, you know what? I'm fine with that. And then and I'm totally getting into some sci-fi stuff again. So this sounds like something I should definitely check out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's definitely, and remember that it's on Amazon Prime. Something that I've been doing lately is a lot of the things that I've been checking out on Netflix is I rely on the top 10 line. I check that out. Now, granted, you're always going to have a few kid shows that are going to be in the top 10, but generally, if something is trending in the top 10 for at least a week, usually I'll make a decision to give it a try, on that front. I also watched The Woman in the Window, which is about an agoraphobic.
That's a movie.
I was angry because I don't have a lot of time in my life right now.
And you spent it watching that one.
I can't wait to hear Yardley's opinion on this.
Well, for those who aren't familiar, it's about agoraphobic Dr. Anna Fox. She witnesses something that she shouldn't while keeping tabs on the Russell family, which is a seemingly picture-perfect clan that lives across the way. We threw a couple things in the chat about this, and this movie, from what I have read, there was all types of production issues, for I guess maybe like a year or two before it just got dropped. But when I watched it, I didn't feel like it was the worst thing that I watched, but it wasn't good at all. It was kind of nothing. I watched it, in the last 5 days. I don't even remember what happened at the end. I don't, and it's got my girl in it. And of course, yes, Amy Adams, she's in it. And it seems like it's one of those things where you almost feel sorry because it's got, Michael Tyree Henry, the guy who plays Paperboy.
It has everybody in it.
Yeah,
it's like a who's who of movies, but oh my God, what a piece of garbage.
Isn't it? It's very gosh. I mean, did y'all make it through in one sitting or did you have to, cause I had to start and stop it, a few times. Then,
I anger powered through it because I was like, it has to, I read the book and don't hold me to it because the book's not new. I read it a long time ago, but I remember liking it and being excited when I saw that this movie was coming out. And just what hot trash it turned out to be, not being able to figure out, do I want to be a mystery? Do I want to be scary? Do I want to do this? We don't know. We're just going to do it all and do none of it well. And the end. What a piece of garbage.
And the son was ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
He came across I don't know.
Didn't he come across kind of like, you remember, what was the song? What was the movie? Was it called Signs? The one with, oh gosh.
Joaquin Phoenix?
Joaquin.
Yeah, the way that he was
wrong.
acting, the way that the son was acting and the woman in the window seemed similar to the way that his character was acting in that
I hadn't even thought about it, but I was like, that kid's on the spectrum. Okay, no big deal. But oh my God, Gary Oldman, Anthony Mackie, like Julianne Moore,
right.
White Russell, everyone in here that deserved better. That's
at least he wasn't acting like Mark Wahlberg in The Happening.
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't imagine what they improved with all their delays, because I'm trying to understand. I didn't hate it. I'm just really disappointed because all these people in this lineup, you're expecting something really good, and it's like they did their best with what they were given, but there wasn't a lot to work with there.
Being that the book was good, so it had good story source material, I think whoever wrote it for adaptation failed. And then the directing is weird, and between those two things, it just flopped.
But even had you not read the book, when you watch it, you just feel like something's missing. I don't even think that this is a movie that any of these actors even cares. If you scratched it off of IMDb.
It's called Paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. But
Paycheck the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think that, did y'all feel like anybody, I don't think that anybody's, they did what they could with Amy Adams because she's obviously the main character, but I don't really feel like I know any of the characters in the movie. Anthony Mackie had 2 or 3 lines, and you don't even really see him.
I thought I was he was on the phone, and I was like, wait, is that Anthony Mackie? How are you not showing him if he's in this film? What a waste.
Yeah, he had one scene, being in an overturned car or something like that. And
the detectives were
assholes.
over assholes. Know what I mean?
She was the crazy white lady that cried wolf. But yeah, they were assholes from the get. So
yeah, the girl detective really got on my nerves because she was just overly, embarrassingly abrasive and negative and mean. It's come on, even if she is has mental problems, you don't. It was such a what do you call it? Where it's just people overdo certain characters based on their what they do for a living or their gender or something. I don't know. It was just over the top.
Where she overcompensates or whatever.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. I didn't like any of it. I was like Moni. I was waiting. It's got Gary fucking Oldman. I mean, he's amazing. He sucked in this though. I didn't like the Jennifer Jason Leigh. She looked
like smug. I just kind of wanted to punch her in the face.
Dude, I really
looked like I just ate a lemon or something. I don't know.
The only dude I really liked, and it's because he was really cute, was that Wyatt Russell, the David guy who, spoiler alert, dies. But I was just like,
oh no.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry yourself tonight. I'm sure out of the loss, but yeah,
giving it such a great review, I'm sure everyone wants to run and see it now. So
it sucks whenever you're really looking forward to something and it turns out to be trash.
That's correct. No, I mean, it's true. Well, of those 3 things that I've saw, I would definitely recommend Without Remorse and Jupiter's Legacy. So, with that being said, Christy, what have you been checking out recently?
Well, like I said, I don't have a lot of time to watch movies right now or shows, but I did catch Paranormal Caught on Tape as a show that Moni turned me on to that, they're doing a countdown series right now of the top 100 craziest moments caught on tape, which is nice.
I did not know that, but now I need to watch it. So
yeah, it's stuff you've seen, but it's just and they do it quickly. It's not, because when you're watching Paranormal Caught on Tape, just like all the other shows, it's a lot of monotonous because they have one piece of footage, and so they just replay.
You
edit
and move on.
And play it. It's I want to see it. I want to see somebody talk about it for about 5 seconds, and then I want to move on. But to fill up the show, they don't do that. They're knocking them out quick because they have 100 to go through. So it's you don't even need to watch any of, if you don't have never watched a show, just watch the Paranormal Countdown series and you can move on with your life. Like, cause there's some amazing footage on these shows. I mean, really, really jaw-dropping stuff. But again, it's mind-numbing the way they roll it out for a huge amount of time for a 30-second clip. So I would recommend that. I've been watching that. I still am listening to audiobooks. I just downloaded a new one because I'm leaving to go to North Carolina in the morning, and it is it's called The 3-Body Problem, and I'll let you guys know how it is. It's by a Chinese writer, and they've put it in English, of course, and they're reading it. It's an audiobook, so it's pretty long, but I'm excited to start that tomorrow. And then, I wrote Woman in the Window. I completely forgot, like, that's how bad that one sucks. I, like, blocked it out of my memory. But then I saw that Yardley had it in there, so I was like, okay, I'll put mine in there too. And that's it, really, you guys. Like, I suck right now. I'm not watching any TV.
Well, whenever you get back into the swing of things, there's definitely quite a few options, because actually MODOK dropped recently on Hulu. But anyway,
I watched part of it. It made me laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely got to get back to that. I only watched one episode. Let me see here. Kinte, have you been checking out anything recently that you want to let people know that's good or not?
Okay, so actually, I have a friend of mine who now stays in my back house, and he is way behind on everything. And so this was a show I saw when it aired. I showed him the pilot for the TV series 24.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, I don't know, at first I showed it to him, and I think we started at midnight or something. And he watched the first 12 episodes that night. And he's already on halfway through season 2. And he just literally got started with it. So I've actually been kind of watching it with him, even though I've seen those before. So it's like ancient history to me. So, but besides that, really, I haven't had any time to really, watch anything besides, a little NBA and watching, Kwame Brown, go in on people. That's about it.
Is that series isn't running anymore? I think the last, because I never really watched it either. I think I saw the episodes that John Boyega was in, but that was like,
oh yeah, that was late.
Yeah, that was like late in the game. But is it still going on?
No, it's been off for a little bit. They had, the guy who plays Dr. Dre in the NWA movie.
Yeah,
they had him kind of take over for a season, and then it got canceled. So.
Oh, that's right. I had forgot about all that. And wasn't he also someone who was recruited to be in one of those, like, Tom Clancy or one of those writers adaptations to?
Yeah, but it didn't work out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he was on The Walking Dead for a second, and then his character just disappeared.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
With that bad wig he had on.
I totally forgot about that. Okay, Moni, what have you been checking out lately?
So, as I mentioned, Woman in the Window, which hard pass on even discussing that again. Christy, thanks for bringing up audiobooks, because actually I'm listening to If You Tell a True Story of Murder, Family Secrets, and the Unbreakable Bond of Sisterhood. And it's actually related to what we do here because it's a mega true crime story. It's a bestseller, and I have only listened to a couple chapters while I'm working, so I haven't paid as much attention, but I really need to pay attention to it because it's a true story about some sisters who were raised by a sadistic mom in a rural farm, and she abused and tortured them. And whoever's typing, I can totally hear you right now, a lot.
That's me. Sorry.
And then she ends up, the mother ends up being a sadistic torture serial killer, and the girls have to escape from her. So it's something we may end up talking about on the show after I finish the audiobook. And then in the meantime, highly recommend this series. So I'm going to Massachusetts, and I'm going to be visiting Salem in October. And I was looking for something. My kids were gone for the weekend, which was amazing. And I was like, what should I watch while they're gone? I was trying to find something not boring because, we've all seen The Witch, and there's a lot of really slow, like, movies about witches and about Salem. So there is a TV show that's now on Hulu. It was originally with WGN. It was their first ever scripted show. It ran from 2014 to 2017, and it's called Salem. And Christy, you would love it. Yardley, I actually think you would enjoy it if you like Game of Thrones.
I've already watched the whole series. I watched it. I watched it this year.
What?
Yeah. Well,
It's
I'm all about.
It's so good.
I'm all about Tasman Merchant. So that was the reason why I watched the series. She also is in that Carnival Row series that I had recommended for y'all. But yeah, that's the only I was like, oh, Tasman Merchant's in this. I think she was in the Tudors as well.
It is a who's of B-list actors as far as like what they've been in, but the most physically gorgeous specimen human beings that you've ever seen on this show. Like, I just can't help but stare at the women in this show. But anyway, Christy, you would like it. It pulls no punches with like gore and demon possession and witches and creepy shit. It's awesome.
Did you like the way?
Checking it out.
I don't know if they. I don't know if I think that they stuck the landing as good as they could have.
I haven't finished it, so I'm only on the first season, and I do know that the last season suffered from they didn't air it for another year. It lost half its audience, and I don't think they were given an opportunity to really close it the way they wanted to. They just sort of canceled the show. So I don't know about the ending. Don't spoil it, but I love the show so far.
I absolutely want. I mean, the ending, there's some disturbing stuff that kind of happens at the end. It's kind of like what happened with, I want to say it's kind of like what happened with Game of Thrones. Like the very last season just kind of seemed like they were trying to pack it in. I wasn't really aware that it abruptly, because I literally watched it. I want to say it was this year. So it's been in the last, 5 months. But I mean, I basically binged it. So I mean, it was, it was pretty good. Essentially, this is like a prequel to the Salem witch trials, which was like a real thing, kind of. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like that. So, but anyway, it's solid. I'm with you. I would definitely recommend that series. Cause what did it go? Was it like 3 seasons, 4 seasons?
3 seasons, but I think they might have been told at the 3rd season that they were done, and to wrap it up is probably what happened with the ending. But so I'm not looking forward to that part, but I love the first season so far. I'm more than halfway. No, I'm halfway through it. Oh, Lucy Lawless is in it too. How awesome! Anyway,
Kinte would like it too, though. I think Kinte would like it.
What's it called again?
Yeah, the Salem. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's literally just called Salem. It's on Hulu, and it's the because there's a bunch of things called Salem. The 2014 TV series.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay,
I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it pulls no punches, and that's been the only issue is I'd love to be binging it, but that's one you can't take a chance of watching with little kids walking in and out of the room, because it's they're stoning a guy to death, neat, or they're pulling a snake out of somebody. There's a lot of stuff in this show.
That sounds like the perfect show to watch with kids.
Right? For sure.
Well, what is WGN like a cable network or
I think so. And this was their first scripted series that they've ever done, apparently. And I think they seem to have some budget. They seem to really nail it, at least in the first season. So the costuming is great. It's good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely co-sign that with you. What else you got?
That's it. That's all I've been doing.
Okay. Well, I guess we can just dive into talking about the Army of the Dead. We're just going to give our spoilery thoughts on the show. So what we're going to do is we'll just go around, we'll do a round robin, and essentially, everybody will get a turn. We'll just rate it, from 1 to 5, and then just give us a few things. I have top 3 things you liked. If you don't have 3 things, that's fine. But, we'll talk about the things that we liked, the things that we hated, and, our favorite, character or, couple of characters in the series. And also we'll just kind of state, if we'd be down for a sequel, and, if you think there should be a sequel to it, if you have any ideas of where they could take this. So, the Army of the Dead, it premiered on May 21st, 2021 on Netflix. It's about a U.S. military convoy transporting confidential cargo from Area 51, which collides with a car on the highway. It unleashes a zombie. It kills a number of soldiers while infecting a couple of other people. The zombies travel to Las Vegas, infecting most of the city's population, and after a failed military intervention, the government quarantines the city. So there is a casino owner by the name of Bly Tanaka, who's played by Hiroyuki Sanada. He was in The Last Samurai, Mortal
Great
Kombat.
actor.
Yeah, hell yeah. And Infinity War. And what is it? The Last Samurai, right? Yeah, with Tom Cruise as well. But essentially, he approaches a mercenary, Scott Ward, who's played by Dave Bautista, about a job to recover $200 million from his casino vault before the military destroys the city with a tactical nuke. So it's basically a heist movie with zombies. For me, well, actually, we'll start off with Kinte. How would you rate it? And give us some of the things that you liked and some of the things that you hated.
So 5 being the highest, I'd say 3.5. I would say, I guess the things that you want me to start off with the things that I hated or liked.
Start off with the things that you liked. If you've got 3, that's good. Same thing for the things that you hated.
Sure.
And tell us your favorite character.
Well, Dave Bautista, I thought was excellent in the film. He showed a range that he doesn't normally get a chance to show. And, I just think that, compared to a lot of, the other former WWE actors, and it's not a shot at The Rock. I'm talking about the other people. I think he actually
looking at you, John Cena.
Well, I didn't want to say it because I don't want to catch me in traffic, but he actually has good range. I mean, I've seen him be funny and stuff. Actually quite hilarious. I've seen him, do the action thing, and he actually, in his dramatic scenes, he's pretty believable as well. Is he Robert De Niro? No. But he's definitely pretty solid, and I enjoyed him in this film quite a bit. Another thing that I did enjoy, of course, the locations were awesome. The set design was remarkable. The way that they made, Vegas look, and also the creature makeup was amazing. And all of that. And, the cinematography is great as well. And I guess that is 3 things. Things that I hated. Okay. I don't know if anyone ever saw the TV show Lost. Mm-hmm. There was a character by the name of Kate in that show. And this show's Kate, or this movie's Kate, the daughter of Batista's character, was similar because I guess this is a spoiler show, so I can say this. This heifer got everybody killed.
Yeah. Right.
Literally, if she doesn't come, they would have had a somewhat successful mission. You know?
Yeah.
She definitely did not deserve to survive at the end. I'm sitting there like, God dang, you got the pilot killed, you got your daddy killed, you got even the person you went through all this
save.
That heifer got killed too. So, and that black girl who just randomly got bit, by the dude from Sons of Anarchy, and Luke Cage, Theo Rossi. But anyway, so woman is a very beautiful actress, but her character was annoying as hell. Yes. So that was something I didn't like. I don't know. I think it was a lot. It was a lot longer than it should have been. I think the running time was about 2.5 hours. Yeah. And it felt, what it kind of felt like, the Justice League, cause it had, I don't know if you've ever seen the Justice League movie that Zack Snyder did, where it's
4 sittings, but yes.
You know how it starts off with Batman is going recruiting. I'm like, wow, he's doing it again, and that went on forever, and they were trying to be deep, so it was kind of, it was way too long. And then one other thing is they did a good job of making you care about characters, but then it's like the minute you kind of really started to be interested in the character, then they just I think they killed him kind of quickly. Which I never thought I would say that in a zombie movie, but, So I don't know, like it was good, but but overall it was an entertaining film. And, so I would suggest anybody who's a fan of this kind of genre of film, that they should check it out.
And so for so many years we made our bones, like doing the podcast on The Walking Dead, where we're pretty seasoned in, some of that, zombie genre. Is it surprising to you that people are still trying to capitalize off the zombie thing? Like, do you remember we used to always have those debates about how long the zombie thing would go on because The Walking Dead was such a fluke, like on TV, like to be popular. And I know a lot of people checked out because the series, it's still going. Isn't this like the last season of it or something like that?
Yeah.
And then it's going to a couple of spinoffs.
Yeah. So are y'all surprised that, and this is just a question for everybody in general, even though we're going to move on to everyone to give our thoughts. Do y'all think that in general, like the zombie genre is losing steam, or is this,
Didn't they find like a lost Romero film that's going to come out on Shudder in a couple weeks?
Oh no, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I personally don't have too much more interest, although, and I'll get into it when it's my turn to talk about this one, but the community of zombies could have been interesting in this one, but they blew it. Anyway, but yeah, for me, the traditional zombie thing is definitely losing steam.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta disagree with that, I guess, and partly just because I really like zombies, but I feel like through the years, I mean, we started 50 years ago, kind of zombies started kind of making an appearance. And the way that it's evolved, I just feel like it's going to continue to evolve as science goes. There's going to be more and more ways to introduce like a zombie theme. And so, I mean, we start with, nuclear waste or something like that. And now we're talking about pandemic stuff and DNA things. I just think as our reality of science and everything evolves, the more stories we have to introduce into more zombie stuff or a strain type of zombie. Kind of like it looks like what's happening now is zombies are starting to change as far as what would be a typical, what you would think of as a zombie. So I don't know. I don't think it's dead yet. I think it's going to continue.
Yeah, they definitely try to get creative. I mean, I think that we have a lot of examples of different shows or different movies that, how they represent, how an undead person, so to speak, comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my favorite horror movies of all time is Return of the Living Dead. In that case, it was like, the vat and the gas and all of that. Started turning people into it. And then The Walking Dead has the unknown thing that's causing it, but we all know that it spreads by getting bitten. I think that the zombies in this particular movie, I like the fact that they were conscious. This is why I don't even know. I guess technically they are zombies, but they're conscious and they're not stupid. They communicate and they have leaders and all of that stuff. So I thought that was an interesting twist, and I am jumping on my turn way too early. So anyway,
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
The scene in the beginning with the two guards talking to each other, it kind of reminded me, if you guys watched the show The Mandalorian, of the first season finale where the two speeder bike guys were talking. And do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They had that same kind of tone to it, where they, they're talking kind of silly and it kind of felt out of place a little bit, but yeah, it kind of reminded me of that.
Wasn't one of those stormtroopers the guy that was in the office or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, Kinte, would you be down for a sequel? And if so, do you have any ideas where they could possibly take this? Especially with the ending, you're like, what the hell?
They killed off everybody, though. I mean,
except your girl.
Yeah, well, Kate, right? Is she going to be the person? And I was, Amari Hardwick. I was like, oh, the brother lived. And I was like, oh, he's dead.
I thought that was genius. Did y'all though? Because like I was saying the same thing. I was like, oh man, this is another twist. The brother lived and he's got all the money. And I was like, hell no, there's still 5 minutes left in this bit. Something's happened.
Yeah.
But
right.
But I don't know. I mean, that's kind of interesting. All right. Well, you definitely would give this a recommend, though. I mean, apparently, you would. Okay. Mahoney, how would you rate the movie?
Oh man, I gotta get up on my soapbox and like rip this movie a new one, unfortunately. So I saw the first 15 minutes before the movie dropped, and I really enjoyed the first 15 minutes. I think it was done well. I was loving the music, the use of music, and they do some fun stuff with music in this film. Coming from the comics world, though, that I'm into, I'm so, like, somebody needs to stop Zack Snyder. Wait, I'm supposed to do what I liked. Okay. So the opener was good. The Vegas setting was good. And Kinte especially, like, I know we've all been to Vegas, but those of us who live in California, when they were talking about Barstow being the saving area, I was like, oh, God, anything but Barstow. I'd rather stay for the nuke than go live in Barstow voluntarily. There's a lot of plot. Okay, wait, that's still not a good thing. Zombie Community was a cool idea, and I did like how they were like showgirls and how they were dressed and everything. They definitely didn't do a lot with the Zombie Community, and I think that if they were to do a sequel, I doubt they would go this direction, the way that they took it where, somebody is going to take the infection to a more populous area, and they're probably just going to do the same shit in a different place. But they could dive into sort of how the Zombie Community formed, like what the hierarchy is there and why they behave the way they do. That could be interesting. They failed here. As Kinte mentioned, it's way too long. If you actually count it, so the whole last 45 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes is one action scene, more or less. But if you actually look at a 2.5 hour movie about zombies, and for it not fleshing out the zombie community and for it not really fleshing out most of the characters, you actually only had 3 action scenes in that whole film. There was the opener, and then there was the woman in the middle of the film that the dude like locked in, and she was like kicking ass and killing everything, and that was super awesome. And then there was the whole like last half hour of it just basically being action scenes. But there's only 3 action scenes in this whole mess. And then my main concern is Zack Snyder needs to be stopped. Like, somebody needs to look that guy in the eye and tell him, A, no, and B, like, less budget, and C, fucking edit, please edit. Because that dude, Dawn of the Dead in 2004, I like that film. Like, we can debate if you liked it or not, but I really liked it. And that's Zack Snyder directed. And so I was excited about this one because I was like, oh, return to form. That one's only like 90 minutes and it's really well done. But we were actually looking at when Zack Snyder started to suck, because the 300's good. Like, there's a bunch of good movies that he's made in the past. But if you look at everything after, well, Superman and after, once he got like that DC money, that superhero money, that prestige, I think people stopped telling him no. I think his wife is his like main producer or something. I think people are giving him way too much budget, and he plays more to his budget than actually dealing with writing a good story. And I think this whole thing was a hot mess, and I give it a 2, and that's me being generous for sure.
Well, that's why I guess you don't give a rat's ass about a sequel, huh? So I'm not even gonna.
No, I mean, if I thought that he could do something more along the lines of Dawn of the Dead again, yeah. Or if they gave it to a different director, I'd check it out. Okay. The favorite characters, the helicopter lady, Marianne Peters.
Oh, yeah.
Tig Notaro, the comedian.
Yeah.
Tig,
yeah. She was awesome. And then the safe opener guy, the Dieter, whatever, the German dude.
Oh, yeah.
He made me laugh in when I was supposed to laugh instead of like when I wasn't supposed to laugh throughout the movie. But I would like 2.5 hours of my life back. And yeah, that's my hot take on that film. I give it a 2.
Tig, there was another show that I had saw her in, but like, and I haven't looked up, her IMDb or anything. She just reminds me of a female Larry David, like her comedy. You know what I mean? That's the way that she comes up. On one of these streaming services, I think that she had like a series. So I have to go revisit it. I mean, it's something that I saw her on where like
she was on Bob's Burgers. She was on Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, really? I didn't even know.
She was on Transparent, which I don't know that.
She was one of what's his name? Louis C.K.'s victims.
Oh,
really?
Really?
Yeah. He whipped out the willy in front of her.
Ew.
Yeah.
Did she talk about it in a bit?
No, I mean, she came out against him. She was one of the ones that came out. She said that he whipped it out. So, yeah.
That's unfortunate. She deserves better than that and this movie. So she deserves better than both.
I thought it was a good showcase for her, though.
I did too, actually,
she was a bright spot in this.
Yeah. And, the interesting thing about her character in the movie is like she was digitally put in most of the movie. So the only actor that she actually performed with in the movie was the one who I think played the Ana de la Reguera, the one who played Maria. Like their scenes are the only scenes like that she was actually with another actor. Everything else was put in, which I thought was one of the dope things that I thought about it, because you couldn't really tell that she wasn't there interacting.
Was there a reason for that? Like, was it just a scheduling thing?
Well, the character that she was playing was originally a man, and they swapped, gender.
Was it Kevin Spacey?
Well, the guy, because the guy had like some type of harassment something, and they dropped him from the movie, and they inserted her into it. And
man, I gotta see who that was.
Yeah, I can't. Even.
Right, that was
he got Kevin Spacey. He got Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I believe so. Like it was. Well, whatever it was just one of those things where I think people just got nervous, and it was like, I think it's something that's probably still in some type of a litigation or something, but, they ended up driving him. But I mean, the way that the movie's laid out, I mean, it worked out, but I kind of like Tig in the role. So what I'm saying, I don't know what I'm missing because,
sure.
she's on.
Oh, Crystalia. Oh, the comedian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
As a tough guy, like even before the allegations, as a tough guy, no, thank you. Like I know it's comedic tough, but yeah, I know, nope.
Yeah, Crystalia's been getting.
Yeah,
they got him on a couple of things, right?
Yup.
Wow.
Oh wow. So
wow, and they paid it took millions of dollars too to do that.
Oh, well, they had $90 million budget for this heap of movie, so.
Oh, gosh.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
You guys know what Crystalia was accused of, right?
Yes.
Would it have made the movie worse for you if he was in that role?
Yeah.
Well, what was it? Wasn't it like sexual harassment or something?
Of like underage girls and
he was sliding into underage girls' DMs and having them meet him out places and.
So you're saying that you're asking had we known about that, would it? His personal from his
could you have enjoyed the movie, or would it have changed your enjoyment?
Please, I'm still bumping R. Kelly, Michael Jackson.
That's true. I am too.
I can't do it. People can, it's like people. I'm just saying, like I don't.
Think also, though, there's a difference, like when it's that soon, like we're not super far removed. Like Michael Jackson, it's been a while, but with this guy,
and he's
dead, and just the role too. Like this guy was, they would have had him as like a tough guy. He wasn't a tough guy even before these allegations. You know what I mean? I don't think he would have been that great in it.
It's just one of the things. Just like a lot of people flat out tell you, like even Dave Chappelle made a joke about it. Like you like Kevin Spacey in what was it, House of Cards or whatever it is. He was like. You lived all of your life, with this stuff going on, and if you could have waited a couple of months, we kind of saw how that ended.
It's true, yeah.
with Kevin Spacey,
not wrong.
Just as a side note,
to come out with that shit. But anyway,
just as a side note, I really like Kevin Spacey's work. It's a shame he's such a creep, because he's so good.
I was gonna say, but when you think about it, his characters are kind of always creeps. Like not in the way that he actually is, but you're like, that kind of makes more sense now.
Oh, wait, real quick as a side note, we were playing a game, my family, on one of these holidays, and it was one of those games. It was a blockbuster game where you had to shout out something, and they're supposed to guess it, right? And my team. I'm thinking, cause you could say like, you can just shout out something and they're supposed to get it, right? And I shout out Kaiser Soze and nobody got it. They didn't know what the hell was
serious? No way.
I was like Kaiser Soze, cause it's supposed to be a movie title, right? And that's the clue, right? The one clue. And I'm like, y'all don't know who Kaiser Soze is?
Were they young? Like what was wrong
they were in their 40s, 30s. even in their 20s.
For shame. They need to go back to film school for sure.
I was like, how y'all not know Kaiser Soze? Shame.
Well, I don't even have to ask. I don't even have to circle back to Moni even to ask because she was like, fuck a sequel and all of that stuff. So we'll move on to Christy. What would you rate it and tell us the things that you liked and the things that you did not like so much?
So I'm going to go ahead and be super honest with all y'all. I could not finish this movie. I turned it off. I watched quite a bit of it. It was not my thing. I tried. I was literally falling asleep. I gave it a 1.75. It's just,
You finished Woman in the Window and couldn't finish this? I just don't even see it.
I could not get into it. I could not get into it. I thought it was so cheesy, and I did not like the zombies at all. Like, they are not zombies to me. Like, this was not zombies, like, to me. That's just how I felt. I like my zombies dead and, like, not, it just, I mean, and I like I Am Legend, and, they're similar to this, but it's something there were some good looking chicks there. I loved Tig Nicotero. I was so glad they photoshopped her ass in there. I liked the Vegas landscape and everything, the way they did that. It looked really cool. But once the story started rolling, I was rolling my eyes. Like, it just was not at all my cup of tea in any way. Like, I just did not like this movie at all. I really tried to. Maybe I was not in the right headspace. Maybe I should try it again when I'm not, mentally completely exhausted at all times. But
that's 2 hours and a half that you can't get back.
I couldn't do it. It never ended. I was just like, what? I feel like I've been watching this movie, and it just, finally I was just like, I can't watch anymore. Like, it just did not, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
The last 30 minutes was pretty good, though.
Well, that's probably what I missed, and I probably could have ended it on a better note, but I just did not, couldn't do it.
It's so irredeemable that you don't have any favorite parts.
I liked, like I said, there were some good looking ladies on there, and I like watching hot things. And then again, the backdrop was cool, like where they were, the Vegas, all the cool, those buildings all, tore up, but I just couldn't do the whole, I don't know, like, I just couldn't do it. It just did not click for me at all. And it bummed me out because I've been looking forward to this movie, like, for a while. And so it was just another freaking letdown after Woman in the Window. And maybe that was like my whole, I was salty going in and expecting something more, but, I loved Tig Nicotero in this. I thought she was great. It just nothing else really stood out to me. Nothing like super. I wouldn't be against a sequel if they could make it better than this, which no sequels count.
That is funny.
I liked the concept. Like, I just did not, I didn't even think the makeup on the zombies was good. Like, it just, no.
I thought that was pretty good. I thought it looked good.
But that showgirl chick came flying out, and
you said the showgirl.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck is she supposed to be?
Tiara.
Like, what? Yeah, she had like beads all over her, and I was just like, oh no.
You didn't like the Viva Las Vegas opening?
I just couldn't. It just seems so, I don't know, like, cheesy.
You think it was too when you were talking about the the tiara, the queen or whatever. Yeah. The one thing that irked me, that really, I have to say irked me about that character is I'm like, why in the hell are you running around here on all fucking fours? Like, why are you like,
I was like,
a problem, lady? Like,
yeah, it just,
I don't even,
yeah.
It did feel like a video game though.
Yeah, it did. It looked like some old friggin', what was that Silent shit? Like some.
Yeah, Resident Evil, Silent Hill.
Just like,
Left 4 Dead.
I is the zombie running around like an ape. Like, it didn't like it. it was confusing. There was no like clear definition of what these things were supposed to be to me. Like I was just like, what is this? It just, yeah. It seems like it's going to be one of those things where they're going to be like, they're going to do more of these and it's going to morph into, like colonies of these being, it's going to get bigger. There's going to be more of all of these weird zombie people, villages, or whatever you want to call them, and nothing. I'm sorry, guys. This was just not my thing, but I'm glad somebody got some enjoyment out of it.
I keep giggling because I'm just trying to imagine because I keep imagining your face and Moni's face while watching it. Just based off of your reactions. I mean, like, y'all just probably just side-eyeing the hell out of the TV screen and just like, what the fuck is going on here? Well,
I remember hollering after Batista's character, spoilers happened to him, and I was just like, there's more movie after this?
Well, you know what?
I remember thinking if Joe was watching, that he is probably like bashed his eyeballs out of his head if Moni was making Joe watch, because
did he
doesn't like
Moni? You didn't like.
We're just so down on Snyder. That's what made us like go back in the Snyder catalog and figure out when he fell from grace. Because we're like, we like the 300, we like Dawn of the Dead, we like this. What happened to this guy?
Dawn of the Dead. See, I love Dawn of the Dead. That's one of my favorite zombie movies.
It's a really good one.
I love it. Yeah, it's so good. What happened?
It should have existed in that universe, and I don't think it was meant to. And I don't know. Don't know.
Would have been cooler if it had been.
Right.
I mean, and I want, and it makes me happy that some people liked it, because there's something for everybody. This was just not my thing. Like, and I like zombies, but I did not like these zombies at all, like in any way. To me, they're not zombies. So that's my story.
Well, Kinte started off with some positivity. I'm going to bookend it at the end with a little positivity, and with you and Moni being in the middle hating it, I guess this is like our Oreo, our friggin' Oreo cutoff here. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to say that it wasn't the ultimate movie. I would give it pretty much the same as Kinte. I'd give it a 3.5. Because I did like the special effects. I liked the visuals. I liked, it was kind of a change, the way that they did the zombies. I thought that was solid. I also, what Kinte had mentioned, something towards in one of the characters. I can't remember the brother's name, and we did a review of, let me see, what's his name here?
Omari Hardwick?
Yeah, Omari Hardwick. What was the scary movie? I can't, I was the host of this show, but remember y'all, we reviewed it. It was the one where he was stuck in the house. Yeah, you know what? I can't, and I feel horrible. Hold on, I've got to click on his bio, because I mean, damn it, like I was the host of that show, and I'm sitting here not even remembering what the hell it was. We did the review for, and of course it's not popping up. It was, do y'all remember, was it Spell? I think that's what it was called.
Right.
Spell. I think it was that movie. I think that he's a solid actor. I've never seen Power or anything like that, but,
yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was. Okay. But anyway, the special effects, the consciousness of the zombies, I liked his character. Of course, Dave Bautista's character did a great job. The things that I didn't like, it suffered from the same thing that The Walking Dead suffered from, even though I think The Walking Dead failed at it more because they had more time to kind of, fix things. When you start having too many characters. Like,
way too many goddamn characters.
Way too many characters.
Don't develop any of them.
They don't develop any of them.
They didn't even develop the tiger.
Yeah, I know, right?
The tiger looked cool as hell.
There was no
that's so cool.
It's like, why would you
It was so bad that somebody died, and then a minute later they showed somebody else, and I thought it was the lady that died. And I was like, I thought she died. Like, there was no character development, so I was having a hard time figuring out who was who. So that's when I knew this wasn't going good places. I was like, oh, I thought she died. Oh, that's a different one. Oh, okay.
But what makes it even sadder is the fact that this is almost a 3-hour movie and you drop the ball on, having these characters show up. And I totally agree. I think all of you spoke on this. There are so many characters here you said you could just take out. Like, what was her name? Is Kate, that was Dave Bautista's daughter, right? Her?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why was she even in the movie? Like, I don't even.
There's no way he would have let her go with them. He would have gotten her on a bus, last bus out of town, and yeah. But
that's movie stuff, y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when your kid's telling you, I'm gonna go, and all of this shit, it's like, I just told you you're not going, so you're not freaking going. Right. And then on top of that, what was the decision? She was like, you can let me go or you can leave and I'll follow you. And I would have chose that route because I'm like, you'll get a mile down the road and see the real world and you'll take your ass back. Yep. You know what I'm saying? But, her character was, just.
Yeah, she's like Kate from Lost.
Yeah. Everybody killed.
Everybody. She was worse than the damn zombies.
Yeah.
Cause her decisions were selfish.
Well, and I'll tell you what, too. What was the one thing that mother actually asked of her? She said, if anything happens to me in the next few days, take care of the kids. So what does she do? Leave the kids abandoned and alone to go after the mother, which you had one job.
And also the scene with Theo Rossi where she shoots him and then ties him up. And was that supposed to be like Chris D'Elia? Like, cause he was a Me Too'er, so it was like, oh, this is payback for all those Me Too guys,
So, because we saw him be a thief to actually, they were like, well, he's a rapist. Okay, so then we're just going to torture him for the rest of the film. Cool. Because he said so. I don't know.
It felt like that was this is payback for all those men out there.
It's actually how you said it. And it's so, I don't even see how.
It was heavy-handed.
Well, just like Moni was saying, some of these things are just kind of money grabs. I don't know how I could have read that and saw my character and be like, so this is just it? Like, I'm just going to be the freaking punching bag, or maybe he was just like, fuck it, I got a weekend.
Not bat an eye. Cool.
But if you've seen Sons of Anarchy, he's getting raped by Marilyn Manson. So in that, so I guess he'll do anything for a buck.
I guess so, right?
But he's always, I think, isn't every character that he plays is some type of just somebody you're not supposed to like? Because he was in Luke Cage, too, wasn't he? Wasn't he in Luke Cage? He was in, he was in
this fool on Sons of Anarchy, spoiler alert, he finds out that he's black and then tries to hang himself.
I remember that now that you mention it.
I've never seen it.
When he realizes that he's black.
That show jumped the shark so hard.
Then he tries to hang himself to kill himself because he couldn't deal with finding out he was black.
And let me guess, he failed at it.
He failed at it.
Oh, yeah. Of course. I just can't. All right. Well, but for me, just the action and the way that it looked, I thought that it was good. Zack Snyder has a certain way, that he directs. I just thought visually it was cool. And it's one of those things, if you are going to watch it, you just kind of turn your head off and just kind of enjoy some explosions. Because I can tell you right now, the effects and the gore were great. I was like, some of that stuff was, it was very cool, and that kind of, kept me in the show.
Mm-hmm. And the music too was good too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll give him thumbs up on that as well.
And I knew they were going to put in the Cranberries Zombie.
Mm-hmm. I felt like that poor singer was rolling in her grave at the end of that movie. So.
I was waiting for it. I was like, and it wasn't a cover. They decided not to do a cover. They actually, because all the other songs were covers of songs you liked way better, by the actual artist.
That's why I felt bad. I was like, she's not alive to consent to this, and they just went ahead and did it. So somebody made money off it.
No, Zack Snyder had a Ouija board, and he contacted her. She said no, but
I'll know when he did it anyway. So there's that.
I would totally be down. I would be down with a sequel as long as it didn't have, Kate as the main character. And the way that it ended with, I think it literally faded to black with Amari Hardwick's character. So I guess we're all supposed to assume, what happens with him. But it's almost like when you close out somebody's got to figure something out to have that character back. And, something else that they failed out in this movie, like some of these characters, like he had like one of the dopest zombie killing weapons that he like never used.
Didn't even use it.
And I'm like,
oh, thank you.
Like what the hell? What'd you think about that, Moni? I mean, like, why in the hell? How can you not use that?
Didn't they have they had a chainsaw that they used to open the thing, but they didn't use it on any zombie. Yeah, I don't know, man. And then Batista used that one like grenade thing, and he seemed surprised that it blew a bunch of stuff up. He backed up.
The chainsaw thing. They made a big deal of showing it over and over, and then he never used. That one chick, the blonde chick, uses it to cut through a wall. That's the only time. I was like, what the hell?
But remember, earlier in the movie, they made a big thing where the guy who you were talking about, the guy who was getting the rapist guy, when he picks it up and then he makes a big deal coming over, this is my weapon and nobody touches this but me. You know what I'm saying? Like Roadblock from G.I. Joe. And then he never touches that shit. He never touches it again. But I don't know where they would go with it. I did like Vegas, which is kind of a funny setting, because just seeing the zombie Elvis and all of that stuff, I thought that was kind of, I thought the setting was great. But as long as the sequel doesn't revolve around, Dave Bautista's character.
What if they do this where, Amari Hardwick, what if Amari Hardwick character cuts off his arm, just to stop the spread, and then he's like, he got the one arm like Jax. He's like,
that's funny, but all he's got is funny.
They're like, stop the spread. I was wondering why they didn't try that with Bautista's character either. Yeah. Where he's like talking to his stupid daughter and he's just like, hey, it's okay. I'm like, why don't you do something about it and see if it even works, Why
do people just give up, y'all? Like, you know what I mean? I'm that's one of my things. Like, if I'm in a helicopter and I get bit by a zombie, I'm like gonna try to like Tom Cruise out of the helicopter and throw my arm up to get cut off by the propeller. Land in the freaking ocean, just something totally stupid. But people check out, like they just look at the bite and it's like, kill me. I'll be like, bitch, suck out this poison, motherfucker. Like, don't kill me. Like, you know what I mean? But anyway, but all right. I mean, I guess, to Moni and Christy, this movie and all sequels are literally dead to them. And,
you watch it first.
I said maybe.
You watch it. You screen it. You spend your 3 hours and tell us.
I said maybe if they can make it better than the first one. That is not impossible.
So, I mean, the bar isn't that high, for them to make a comeback with you. So, I mean, you gave them a little room, you know what I'm saying, for improvement. But once again, I'll give it a 3.5. I'll just say, look, if you're drunk and got a nice little buzz going, you know what I'm saying, if you want to see some explosions, some blood and, stuff like that, I would definitely recommend it. As far as, actually, I don't think that there's anything else that we can really say about this. Well, what do y'all think about the concept of the heist itself? Like, if all of this stuff was going on and someone came to you and said, hey, here's $200 million. All you have to do is, fight your way in.
One of the plot holes for me was there was no way that I wasn't going to just keep that money for myself. Like $200 million is enough to disappear. Thank you. And I would have just killed the guy that they brought along with them and been gone with that money. Are you kidding me?
But the other thing that was stupid about it was the fact that, how like in the beginning when they were recruiting all of the characters, there was like a certain amount of money and, and as they went to the different characters, the amount of money that they offered was smaller. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, once they get there and they open up the vault, you mean to tell me that none of those people was like, you just give me $50,000?
Right? Like, I'm running out of here on my own. Yeah.
Like, and the guy said that he already had the money refunded to him by insurance. So
that's right, because it was untraceable, right?
Yeah. So why the hell would you then just offer them 20 million of it? He's like, wasn't it just 20 million?
Apparently you need 400 million to live with that guy.
He just said, okay. He didn't even say, well, no, I need more, or he just said, sounds good.
And then they show the dude at the end that had commissioned them to do this, and he sees that they failed, and he's like, you can tell he's still rich, and he just shrugs, and his life goes on.
Yeah.
It's just all these people died, and It was so dumb.
I agree. I mean, damn, like the more I'm talking about this, the more I'm like, maybe I need to change my rating a little bit. But anyway, it's
definitely were drinking when you watched it. You enjoyed it more than you should have.
I should have been drinking. Maybe I would have.
Yeah, that should have been a start.
But that pissed me off from the very beginning when he was like, there's $200 million in this vault. I've already gotten reimbursed for it, but I want this too, and I'm only going to give you $50 million. I'm like,
you could have a fraction of it if you and your friends risk your lives.
Yeah. It's like, I would, how about I'll keep 150 and you can have fucking 50 million. You already got 200 million. Like, really? You need the 150 million too? What a douche. So yeah, that already got me pissed off from the beginning. So then I was just like,
well, it's that, and then there are also scenes in there where, like, after they get in the vault and some of them get the money, and there's a couple of things that happen, but it's basically, the zombies show up, which is something that they had gone through the whole time, but then there are literally people there who are running off without the money. I'm like, dude, I did not come down here to not have a bag. Like, if I'm dying with, like, 2 of those satchels, like, you know what I'm saying, on my back. But I do think that the lack of conflict of, like, people getting the realization that they went through all of this crap for a smaller amount of money. Like, there should have been a big fight, you know what I'm saying, between, that's how we are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even Tig, when she was she's like, so where's the money? Oh, it wasn't there. Oh, okay.
Shrug. Seems fine. Seems legit.
There wasn't any money. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, let's go on back to the crib. What the fuck?
Well, I guess we could pretty much close this thing out by just saying, if people want to watch this movie, just do a coin flip while doing shots and snorting lines and smoking weed, and you might get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. I mean, I would say definitely give it a chance. It's certainly not the worst thing. Like, it's not worse than The Woman in the Window. I can just tell you, like, it's just not. It's just
at least
not.
More stuff goes boom, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? At least you've got explosions, you know what I'm saying, and things. So I think that everybody can probably find something that they love or hate about it, but I would definitely give it a chance. And, I really actually, I also want to say, Kinte, thanks for coming on, because it's been fun. Like, we've had a nice little conversation. It just seems like we've all kind of dove back into, like, the old days right now, but I definitely appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang out, and you better come back and do it again.
Oh yeah, man. Anytime, man. Look, I love to talk about movies. So, and interesting enough, when I was in the car, I hadn't pulled up the podcast app on my phone in a long time, and you guys' show popped up automatically. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. So, but I guess that was an omen. So what are some of the other movies you guys are going to do coming up?
Oh, I mean, usually, I think everybody's in agreement. We just we try to, unless there's something that we've seen in the past and we're like, hey, let's do this. We try to do reviews and just talk about things that are more current, and things that are highly accessible to people, like streaming. And, we also do true crime. Christy loves, the paranormal, and anybody getting stabbed, murdered, and going missing, that's Moni's lane. Mm-hmm. Me, I just try to keep it around, like, horror and just kind of whatever is trending, in streaming. I just want to make sure that most people who have access to, like, streaming services have an opportunity to be able to check out the content that we talk about. But this has definitely, been fun. And before we close this thing out, Kinte, do you want to plug any shows that you have coming up and let our listeners know where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me at Kinte F on Twitter, Kinte Ferguson, SFERGERSON on Instagram. And of course, the website is indyradio.org. That's INDY radio.org. Every Wednesday, but we won't be on this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. We have our show Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show, where we have a panel of men and women talk about different relationship issues or topics. So that's always a lot of fun. And every Friday, I'm on the show called The Infectious Geeks, and the host of that show is Tori Rush, our good friend Tori Rush. So those are the things that we're doing now. And I forgot, on Sundays I'm doing a podcast called Art Beat, where we interview African American artists and talk about their careers and stuff. And you know what? That might be a good one to get you on, Yardley. Talk about your art. Because I don't think we've ever really just talked about the art that you do.
Yeah, but me too. I try to, stay on the low about the job. But anyway,
no, I mean you as a talent.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be fun, and I need to ask, like, some of the things that I really did love, and this was something that I think that Moni and Christy would probably like to jump in on. Are you ever going to do remember how we used to do the tournaments? We would do like the superhero tournament or the cartoon characters.
Yeah, I want to bring that back. Yeah.
You need to bring that back because I think Moni and Christy would get a kick out of it. And I was just thinking the other day because remember, you can give a description of what it is, but what brought it back was our conversation where we were doing a tournament where, I think like the second to the left, it was like Luke Skywalker versus Godzilla, and then the tournament where Bruce Lee won over Superman.
You're right.
So, and basically what these tournaments are, Kinte will make like a list of different characters, right? And it's kind of like an NCAA bracket. So as you go down the line, like the listeners would like vote on it as well. And as you go down the line, to the different brackets before it gets to the championship of the final two characters. And basically what you have to do is based off of the voting and the feedback, different people will take a person and you kind of have to justify the reason why they would win this matchup. And then there'll be another vote and whatever. But the conversation around Godzilla versus Luke Skywalker and
nice.
And
I had one that I never put out, but it wasn't characters. It was fast
action
food
heroes or something like that.
No, it was fast food restaurants. So I had like, it was like Waffle House versus Red Robin or some, I can't remember what the matchups were. And I think the 4 number 1 seeds were like McDonald's, cause Heritage. I think Chipotle might have been the number 1 seed. It was pretty funny, the matchups and stuff, but I never put it out though. I actually made the brackets and everything, but I got so busy I never did it. So, but I want to get back into characters though.
Please do. Like that's something I think would be fun. For all of us to get involved in. And Moni, how can people follow you and get in contact with you on social media?
Sure, yeah. And actually really, really super quick. I mentioned that George A. Romero Lost film. It's called The Amusement Park and it's going to be on Shudder. It was a lost film that they restored after like 46 years. It doesn't look like it's a zombie film, but it is some kind of imaginative horror. And, it comes out June 8th on Shudder. So I wanted to mention that. And then, you can find me at Moni Bear across the board on, Instagram and Twitter. And then my comics nonprofit at Creators Assemble or creatorsassemble.org. We're doing a lot of cool stuff over there if you want to check us out. And then super quick, my show is the next show and we will be I'm kind of over the Conjuring a little bit, but there is a new Conjuring film that's going to be in theaters and on HBO starting, June 8th. Yeah, June 4th. So that's in like a little over a week from now. It's, somebody had said something about like, we all know the true stories behind it. It's like, I don't know the true stories behind it. So anyway, the show that we're going to do next will be a deep dive into the allegedly true stories. Also like what's true and what's fake in the entire Conjuring universe. So not just the main 3 films, but also like The Nun and Annabelle and all of that stuff. So we'll be talking about those stories, whether they're true or not. They're kind of interesting. And, so looking forward to that.
Can I spoil that? Can I spoil that show?
Oh, yeah.
None of it's true.
Oh, yeah. The Warrens are interesting, and we're definitely going to talk about that for sure. Yeah.
I remember them on Donahue back in the day.
I know that's before Moni's time. And
they've been clowning, yeah, for sure. But the stories, I like ghost stories, whether they're true or not, if they're well-told stories. So we're just going to talk about the alleged stories behind.
Yeah, don't let the truth get away in the way of a good story, as they say.
That's right. That's right. You understand it. That's journalism 101 these days. So yeah.
Okay, well that sounds like fun. I definitely look forward to it. And Christy, how can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram as Creepin' at Christy and Creepin' _it on Twitter And yeah, we're still on Facebook, still posting some sick memes and talking about TV shows and stuff like that. So you can find us on there too.
Okay, and you can find me on Twitter at militant_marker. It's the same handle for Instagram. And as always, it's just been such a fun show. And once again, Kinte, really appreciate you being on, and we will get you back on. And if you ever want us to show up and kind of jazz up the joint on Indie Radio, reach out. It's just always fun to kind of do these shows with a lot of like-minded individuals. And I guess with all of that said, everybody, keep it real.